Flash one too. And... Okay, guys, how's everybody doing today? Got another episode of the GhettoRig podcast for you
What
guys.
episode are we on? 124, I think, right?
120. I thought it was 126.
126. That's
No,
is that the wrong?
bro.
No, that
I'm
might
not.
be the wrong
I'm
episode.
not gonna lie, bro. I stopped keeping track.
I
stopped keeping track around
it's
100.
I think it's 124. Yo, we need Jay here. Jay, we need you. We need you. Emergency.
I ain't gonna lie, we do
emergency.
need Jay.
Emergencia, Jay.
Wait, Jay, don't.
Jay's,
wait.
Oh, Jay's back.
Okay,
So we gotta
now-
unmute him.
So, guys, that was a little bit of a weird intro, but yeah. So, for those who don't
Weird
know, my
intro.
name is Eddie. Usually this guy would be behind the camera. This is my producer Miguel. And then my co-host is not feeling too good today. He's at home,
Not very good.
as you guys
Not
can
very
see.
good looking.
I'll show it now. There he
Hey,
is.
there he is.
All sick and stuff, but yeah, he's still supporting the GhettoRig cause from home and stuff. So,
Soldier.
Yeah.
Fighting
what
bears.
were you doing, Jay, just now that you were away from us?
Podcasting don't quit. So what I did was earlier today I did a COVID test because yesterday I had like a huge fever. So I did a COVID test earlier today and that came back negative. And then your sister came by with 3 other tests to test for influenza strains, I'm guessing, 3 different
Yeah.
ones. So I just had to shove a big ass cotton like a Q-tip in my nose.
Oh, I thought
And
you were
she
gonna
got caught.
say. I thought you were gonna say that was gonna go up your.
No, pause, bro, pause.
Sounded like the thing from Mario.
And she was like, "Oh, you gotta put it deeper than that, you know." And the thing was like touching my brain, you know. I think I got
I
a little bit of my brain on it.
hated during COVID when you had to like go get COVID tested for whatever bullshit or whatever.
At
Going
first,
to the hospital and like doing that. You ever did the drive-through one? Where
Yes.
You just like stick your
at
head out.
Tropicana,
Oh yeah. No, I didn't do it at Tropicana. I did it at, I think it was Bayfront.
I did mine at
Hospital down there.
Tropicana. They had like a line, like a long line, and people were just going by, drive-through service.
Excuse me, people.
Swab.
I have a little bit of food here. I'm not gonna let it go waste.
So he's gonna munch on the pod.
Yes, I know this is bad podcast etiquette, but my co-host isn't here, so fuck it.
Wow. So we're just bending the rules now.
Yeah, we
Okay.
are.
Hey guys, you mentioned Vitality yet?
No, we just started, dude. But
Oh, okay.
if anything, Vitality right over here, right on top of me. It's open. They got 2 locations. One in 4th Street, and the other one is in
Park Street.
Palm Street,
Park.
Park Street. There we go. See what happens when you're eating during a podcast? in the middle
I'll
of an
be-
ad.
you know-
In the middle of an ad read.
You
Look
know,
at this.
I thought that something we have talked about so much, like Vitality,
Vitality's gonna demonetize us.
that's not gonna happen.
We're
I'll
gonna
be
get.
right back. I'll be right back. She needs me out there to
We're
do
gonna
the
get
test number
demonetized.
3.
Oh my God! You're getting just tested like back to back to back to back to back.
I thought when I heard you start talking about Vitality, this is what going through my brain.
You thought I was gonna flow right through that shit.
I thought you were gonna flow right through it. We had talked about this so much already, and I literally was like, all right, I'm taking an extra bite so I can like scarf this food down a little faster. And nope, with me chipmunk full of cheeks, I had to spit out Park Street.
It works out though.
It worked.
One
I guess it
location
worked.
in 4th Street, one in Park Street.
Park Street.
4th Street opens up a lot longer, right?
They're open an hour earlier, an hour later, I think it is.
Okay, so yeah.
So I think Park Street is open 10 to 7. They're open 9 to 8.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, I do know that they extended the hours from 7 to 8 on 4th Street. I might be wrong about the starting hour. Might not be 9. I think it is also extended as well. But yeah, guys, make sure to check out Vitality Wellness Center, Recovery and Wellness Center. They have one location, Park Street, 4th Street, like Miggy said. For those who have already been to the Park Street location, there is something new at 4th Street. They do have the new steam room, if I'm not mistaken,
Ooh.
which is what you're going to see a different modality if you want to go ahead and visit 4th Street. Versus, I think, 4th Street has a steam room, and I think, I'm not wrong, Park Street, the one thing different it has from 4th Street is the salt room, I think is what it is. So you get a
So
steam
if you
room
don't,
versus
so
a
if
salt
you don't
sauna.
like that dry feeling of a regular sauna, the steam room is probably a better option.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never actually, to be honest, never been in the steam room. But I think that's exactly what you're kind of looking for. More moisturized.
Steam rooms are
sauna,
more.
basically.
They're more like used in Japan, right?
I do Oh, one
And in
second.
Russia
One
too.
second, Jay.
Oh, okay.
So
We're
Jay
Japan,
said
Russia,
muting
and
you, Jay.
Turkey.
Jay said Russia and Turkey. For those who didn't hear, you were muted for a
Japan
second. So
too.
yeah. So
Japan, Russia, and
you
Turkey.
seen him in that one movie Rush Hour when he sends him in to get not
Yeah.
Rush Hour, is it? When he's I think so. He sends him in to get something. It's like, hey, you need you to go in and get this from this guy. He comes out and they throw him out in the towel.
Yeah.
You remember that scene?
Yeah, I think so. And one thing that has like led me to think about not getting tattoos is the laws in Japan against that. You
Really?
can't go into a steam room with tattoos because if not, you're considered part of
There's
yakuza
from what
or
I've heard,
organized
there
crime.
most of the steam rooms you go to, they're like no tattoos allowed or whatever.
Yeah. Some people still get through though.
Yeah, I'm sure they do, and I
They
think
give you a patch if you have like a small tattoo and it's visible. They'll give you a patch. If it can be covered, they'll let you
Ah.
in. But if not, you can't get in.
that's interesting. I know that behind, like I'm assuming what's behind that is like the basically because tattoos back in the day for Japan were basically 95% gang affiliated. Anybody who had tattoos back in the day,
Hmm.
basically. So
Did they brand people back then in Japan too? I wonder
brand,
with
I'm
tattoos.
sure those crazy fucking guys did. I'm sure they did.
I mean, they literally killed themselves. They don't
Well,
give up.
that's a little farther back.
I mean,
Than just 50
there's been
years ago.
slavery for fucking
Well,
everyone in
yeah,
the world
no.
has had
But
slavery.
like
Wait, what are you
the act
talking
of
about?
seppuku is that's old. That's old. Old.
Branding, just branding people.
Do they brand
Oh,
like
okay,
the
okay.
in
They
Japanese
brand people
in
in
Japan?
Japan.
So in Russia, there's this thing when somebody says let's go drinking, they'll touch right here, like let's go drinking.
Huh.
And what that signifies is in France, because Russia had a big history, right, in 1800s with France, and like as a matter of fact, St. Petersburg was built by using French architects. Like all the fountains and buildings are super ornate and beautiful, just like in France. So in France, they had this thing when somebody was a complete drunk, they would put a little mark on their neck by signifying that they're a drunk. So now every time, so this no longer practiced. So what they do is like, hey, you going drinking? Yeah, they'll do this, like
Huh.
kind of like flick that part of the neck, saying, yeah, we're gonna go drinking,
I didn't know
to
that.
signifying, hey, there's a little like a little burn mark there to signify that I'm a drunk.
So they would brand. You would get a brand right
They'll
here.
brand you, yeah, they
Oh,
were
okay.
brand you as a
So
drunk,
you
yeah.
can't get a drink at a bar or anything once you get that brand.
Now I don't remember if exactly in France it was like one of those things where like, oh, if you have the brand you don't get a drink. It was more, I think, like a social stigma thing, like where they,
Oh, sort of
society would have like, oh,
yeah,
you're a drunk, I don't want to have dealings with you or
sort of
whatever.
like the
But
Untouchables in India in a way.
what would
Yeah.
like who would like would they when this guy would get stupid drunk they would brand him so everyone knew about this or would he do it himself? Like how does this work?
I'm guessing somebody
So
would
they
do it
would
to
get
him.
Right?
drunk and
Because you
then
don't want to
no,
mark
they would get
yourself as a
drunk.
drunk.
No, they would get drunk and then they would take them to the, for indecent exposure and like, for creating ruckus, they would take him to jail. And after I think first or second time, they would just brand him
Oh shit! And them
in
motherfuckers
jail.
probably didn't even remember that shit. All
He
drug and
probably
shit.
didn't. Yeah, he probably didn't. But yeah,
It's
so that's the
it's weird you mentioned Jay and I mentioned, but you're talking about just now that you're sick. Sunday night for some reason, like I didn't feel sick, right? But my whole body
yeah,
had like that weird, like your skin kind of gets really sensitive, like something
yes,
touches it and it just even that like kind of annoys you
I've
when you're
had
yeah,
I've
cold.
had like an itch before, like in my
Well,
back.
I feel like a lot of times when I get sick, like especially at night when I'm cold, my skin gets super sensitive. Like anything rubbing on my skin feels like irritating almost. And I was
yeah,
kind
dude.
of getting that feeling when I was going to sleep on Sunday night, and I was like, damn, like fuck, I hope I don't get sick, man, because like I gotta wake up at 4 in the morning because I'm supposed to go load that day. Which actually I ended up doing the loading a different way, which was pretty proactive, even though we won't do it again. But where we went at 1:30 in the morning without sleeping and then just came back, slept, and then went to work instead of going to sleep at, I don't know, 11, probably 10, 11 was probably the earliest one could get to sleep, me and my dad. And then waking up at 4 to then go do that, sleep again is like too much.
I
So
haven't been staying past 11:30 very often anymore. Since I started this new job, I've been just sleeping a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Just trying to
used to
get my
get,
rest.
I think it's weird. I used to want to nap more in the afternoons when I wasn't working.
Nap
Yeah,
more.
because
I mean, that
from
makes
not
sense.
doing anything.
Yeah, you just bored, just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last night I woke up around 4 o'clock, like shaking, shivering under my thick ass blanket, and I had to like put a t-shirt on, and then I woke up again at 6 o'clock. The t-shirt was completely drenched, like I could take it and just go like this,
I
and just
hate
the
that
water would
feeling
come out.
when you're like all sweaty and you're in bed and your sheets start getting sweaty. And you can't find that warm spot anymore because
Everything
everything's
is
just
cold
drenched
and
in
wet.
sweat.
Yeah.
And you
I
feel
hate
like
Well,
it.
the
you
last
feel like you pissed yourself for a second.
well last night it was a little bit different for me because I was cold. I was just cold, so that I wasn't looking for a a cold spot. Like I was just fucking shaking my ass off in a bed.
That's funny. That's funny.
So
Actually, I got hot last night too. I had to go tell Emily to turn the fucking fan on.
It's been getting hot lately. Today at work, I even felt it. The temperature was 75 inside, but it felt warm.
We were
yeah, my AC kicked in today.
Water temperature's also rising too. The other day when I was out on the water, it was around 60, 64 degrees. And then I went out on Sunday again. It was 73. I actually jumped in the water. It was freezing
Oh
afterwards
shit.
for a little
Okay.
bit. It was kind of cold because it was on the boat. And when we started going, it was cold. And it was a
Oh
bit
yeah,
windy because it was in the open sea. So you
yeah,
still felt a little cold, but it wasn't too bad. You could stand being in the water.
yeah. Seven anything above that mark of like 73 and above, it's like perfect doable summer water. When it's
Hmm.
hot enough, it's
You can
enjoyable
stay
water.
in the water
Yeah, if it's hot enough, it's definitely enjoyable water. Anything below the 70s,
as long as it's not cloudy.
yeah, that too, right? That's what I'm saying. Like it needs to be hot enough still.
Yeah.
Like anything between the 72, 73 to about the 79, 80 mark has to be hot enough for it to be feel nice.
Fishing's gonna start being good now again. Supposedly everybody's raving that they're gonna, be catching redfish and shit. And
This is every year. I mean, what's the difference of this year versus last? You know
no,
what I mean?
but people that actually catch these supposed redfish are telling me that there's gonna be a shit ton of them. It's gonna be back to back, and they're telling me they're gonna take me out there and then I'm gonna catch these fish. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I
But
don't know.
it's getting towards that time again, and we should be excited.
Are you allowed to catch it now?
So not necessarily. It's just the season itself is better because they start eating. Fish will buy all year round, although they do have their slots if you want to keep them.
I see what you
Yeah,
Yeah,
redfish
Makes sense.
and redfish is one of those you have to if it's not in season, they'll charge you $500
yeah,
per redfish.
Well,
and
not only that, because if you catch a snook that's out of season, they'll literally confiscate everything and slap you with fines out the wazoo.
yeah,
Snook and cobia.
that's why.
I mean, around here when in Florida, bro, if you're fishing anywhere and it's something out of season, bro,
Those
they'll
laws are definitely
You're
being
effed.
they're
they'll
being a
rip you a
lot
new booty hole.
they're being enforced a lot more due to the past previous incidents that we've had in the past couple of years
Yeah,
with all the Gulf leaks and all that stuff.
red
We had the
tide,
red tide as well coming in and just destroying the whole ecosystem.
and then you also have certain kinds of fishermen abusing
True.
and
There's
making
people
it.
that overfish the fuck out of the fish. They don't give a fuck about the limits
Yeah,
on them.
exactly.
I had a
That's a
friend of
problem
mine that
too.
would go catch a snook and then just like once he caught the snook, he would just reel everything in, just throw it in a car and just like dip,
Yeah. I
even
lo-
though it was out of season.
yeah, even if it's out of slot. I know people that have done that before. I mean,
Yeah. Hey, listen, I
Because
got a question for
this
you.
is the thing, right? Let's say you hook a snook out of season, bro. If the guy comes over while you're reeling it in, and you gotta bring that fish out of water, he'll rope your ass.
hmm
He'll rope your ass.
Well, if
It's one of those things where it's like I didn't know it was out of like how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to pick the fish that's gonna bite my hook?
hmm
They don't give a fuck. They
well,
really
they
don't.
don't give a fuck.
They don't give a
It's not
fuck.
even catch and release.
They really don't.
Oh
Sometimes, like
shit.
if the guy wants to be, of course, the law calls for catch and release, right? But if the guy wants to be a dick, he'll do it and he'll get your ass. Or like for
I
example,
see
I
what
asked
you're saying.
I asked Randy the other day, like about spearfishing, underwater, and he told me I was asking him like, what if you accidentally get something that's out of size, right? Of course, you're down there and you're being conscious, so you can mostly recognize the kind of fish you're about to fucking spear, but what if it's 2 inches under? You didn't notice,
hmm
right? See, some things look way bigger underwater.
Oh yeah.
All those fish look way bigger underwater. And he goes, man, if you come up and that dude's right there, and you got that fish, you're fucked. You have that dead fish with a fucking hole through it, 2 inches under, you're fucked.
It's FWC commands a lot of respect in Florida because not even that, just any water police,
Bro, not even water,
like
any wildlife thing.
Coast Guard, FWC, any sheriff on the water, if they stop you and they want to ask for whatever they want to ask,
Oh, you're gonna give it to him.
you're gonna
You're gonna give it to him.
Yeah.
You're gonna comply.
I've heard that, even if you catch a fish and it's like, let's say, barely on a line of like the minimum, and then the fish is like chilling in your boat, but because of shrinkage, because it'll shrink because of the hot weather, like it goes under the size, you're fucked.
And sometimes they'll work with you. They'll stretch out that fish too when they're
Oh yeah, they
measuring
be
it. They'll be like,
trying to pull it.
come on. They'll put the tail together to try and push it to make it to help you out. But if you fucked up and you got a fish
They
that's
gotta do it.
under, they'll fuck you.
Yeah. Or like, and it's not only like you don't gotta be careful with salt water, bro. Like freshwater too. Like with the fish, and the biggest thing in Florida is those goddamn manatees.
The one thing I don't know what to do with the fish is, I mean, I guess there's only one thing that you could do is just throw it on the water. Whenever you catch a fish and it's under slot, but you hooked it wrong or the fish ate the
Yeah,
hook.
like let's say you hooked a gill.
Yeah,
It's gonna die.
And it's gonna die. You don't know what the fuck to do with it. All you can do is just throw it out in the water and
Yeah.
hope it sinks.
Help it sink.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, listen, I got a question for you. So I have this article, and the headline of the article says radical new discovery could double the speed of existing computers. Have you heard that?
I mean, the speed of technology is always advancing. Twice the speed every 4 years or something like that. It's an exponential number.
It's an exponential, yeah. But I'm saying like, and even in some cases, certain spans of those years, even more.
Depending, yeah, of course. If there's major breakthroughs in technology, it could be more.
So this is in general or in the mod chat, Jay? If you could tell me.
It's in the mod chat. It's in the mod chat. So this is what it's saying. The test setup included an ARM Cortex A57 CPU, an NVIDIA GPU, and a Google Edge TPU using simultaneous and heterogeneous multi-threading execution of samples. Code was 1.95 times faster, while energy use was reduced by 51%.
Let's see if I could, cause I'm gonna be honest, Jay. I didn't. I'm a bit of a computer dude, but I didn't understand where they were. Let me see. I'm looking through the article now.
Yeah, it's halfway through, like maybe like seventh or eighth excerpt right under the picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth excerpt under the picture.
Yeah.
128 Maxwell GPU cores, quad core ARM A57.
TPU. I don't even know what a fucking TPU is. I don't know what that what that handles.
Yeah.
I don't have to
So
deal with
basically,
that in
my
desktop.
understanding is that they're like beefing up the processor and the GPU.
Yeah, but they can always make shit with more
I
cores
think
and higher speeds and lower timing. But the biggest thing I see here is them reducing the energy usage by 51%. Because you can always make more cores. It's gonna run hotter. It's gonna use more energy.
yeah.
But the fact that it's running 2 times faster and losing,
I
and
think
using
what
half
they're
the
also kind of aiming for is APU system, sort of what like Mac is running.
or your
Everything is all integrated all in
Yeah.
one, which makes it all more efficient. I will say, dude, my Mac Pro, that thing is a beast. It handles
It is,
very,
yes.
very well for everything that I do at work. I can have
Yeah.
Premiere open and I can have 12, 15 tabs open in the background while still running Lightroom and Photoshop in the background. And the computer won't like heat up or start
won't even
spinning
yeah,
up
won't even
just like
budge,
the
huh?
other Microsoft computers. Like my buddy in the office in front of me, he has that, and as soon as he launches Premiere, you can hear his vents just start going off.
It's funny you say that because I actually saw. Go back to Jay real quick. I actually saw a review of this guy I watched. His name is Optimum Tech. He had really, 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 really good tech reviews on new technology coming out. And
Yeah.
actually, no, that's not the one. Which one is it?
Yep,
There
that
we
one.
go. So he was actually reviewing the new Mac Mini. I think it was the Mac Mini or whatever, the small
Yeah.
one. It wasn't.
Could be.
It wasn't the big Mac Pro
Mini.
shit, right? And bro, he was talking about how he was extremely surprised on how it was handling tasks, just like you were talking about Premiere, Lightroom, all these things, and he didn't fucking hear it. Like the
Mm-hmm.
thing never
Yeah,
spun
it was
up.
super
It
super
was
silent.
dead silent. He even said he basically said in the review, because he's like a really nitpicky guy with stuff, like he'll do sound reviews and like show you the specific decibel. He goes, man, I didn't even do that with this. It would have been pointless. It's nothing. You can't hear nothing.
Yep, they're super efficient. One thing I will say is their
Hold on, I'll
storage.
be right back.
All good.
Yep. One thing is their storage. Their storage sucks so much.
Yeah.
It's already filled up, and I don't even know. Lightroom apparently creates these backup
And
files on your computer.
I think majority of Macs, especially when it comes to the laptops, you can't change the NVMe. They're all built into
No,
the
everything
board.
is built in. You have to get them straight from the factory, and that's $299, I think, per step up that you do. So I have the 256 gigabyte. If I wanted 512, just had $300 more.
It's fucking bonkers to me that you see Apple, the same company, is now offering their phones with up to 2 terabyte. I think, right? And I know they started
It's
doing
been a while. I don't usually upgrade my phone for at least 4 years.
but they don't. I know they were doing the terabyte already when I was still working at Best Buy. I think they were already started doing more than that. Anyways,
when I got mine, I don't. Maybe actually they were starting to do the
I
one
know when I
terabyte.
was working there, they started selling them with terabyte already, right?
Okay.
Because I remember seeing the 1000
Yeah,
option.
the new ones, yes, but I'm thinking more for me.
Yeah, when
For
yours
the
came
12
out,
Pro
yeah.
Max, yeah.
But even in that sense, right? When we got our phones, because we have 12 Pro Max, I have the same one as you. You even have the blue one, don't you? Same fucking
I have
phone.
the gold one,
Ah, whatever, same shit. When our phones came out, they had a 500 gig
the
option,
512 option. Yeah.
512 option. I think it's mind-boggling to me that you're seeing our phones where we're having 512, and then they're still bringing out
Max
laptops
that are
with
still.
256 and 512. It's
Yeah,
like,
they're still kind of working towards improving the cost on that. SSDs aren't the most.
bro, SSDs are cheap as fuck.
No, they're becoming cheap, but they're not cheap, and the convenience that they bring is huge.
NVMe SSDs, even sorry, okay. Let's put it in broad spectrum of the two classes. A normal SSD, your normal SATA SSD that you'd see in almost anything for prior to 5 years
So
ago,
trash.
to an NVMe, right? Not really trash at the end of the day. Trash is a hard drive. That's dog
it's
trash.
good. It's good for general backup storage.
It's no, your hard drives are good for random drive.
In my eyes,
Well, I mean,
just because I expect that performance and I still want to be able to work with the files within my computer.
let me ask you something. Have you ever checked how fast your NVMe is even really moving stuff with your stuff? Not really.
I don't really care about the numbers as long as it's not something
So
that's
with an
that I can tell.
with an SSD, you're still getting half a gig per second. I mean, it's still fucking fast.
Mhm.
Versus I get with an NVMe, you can get 3.5 gigs
Yeah.
per second, or even now 7 gigs, or actually now I think they're at 14 gigs
have
because
the
they've
se-
gone to Gen 5 now.
I have the
Me and you, I think,
second
have both
generation one.
Gen 4s.
Yeah, but the Pro, I don't.
Just don't
I'm not
use-
using the speed of it.
And you want to
anyways.
know something? I didn't know this. We're going off topic talking about
Doesn't matter.
SSDs.
We're talking.
Uh,
He wasn't here. Fuck him.
right?
He can join in if he
it's
wants.
funny. SSDs. The more NVMe's you add to your
I don't know if
system.
he's unmuted. You unmute, Jay? Are you back? I bet.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, so the more NVMe's you add to your system, the slower each one will get. You know that? Because
You told me about that, and you also told me to switch it over to the other one, but I never did that because I didn't want to do the whole entire system installation all over again.
that you don't have to do that.
I just
I told you
my
this already,
computer.
Mickey. You don't have to do
The
that.
thing is,
You
look,
can still
look.
look. Now we'll have to fix fucking issues, bro. If you take your NVMe that you're using right now, that's your
Mhm.
main SSD. It's where your Windows is installed.
Mhm.
If you take it from the main slot and plug it into the second one,
and then just change the boot.
you don't have to change no boot. Windows, when you install Windows, it has a Windows boot manager. Like, bro, the only time you really need to be changing the boot is if you have multiple Windows installed. When you install Windows, it has a Windows boot manager.
Install multiple Windows.
Yes, you can. And to different SSDs in your computer.
I didn't know that.
So
The more you know.
the Windows, when you install Windows on your computer, it automatically installs Windows Boot Manager, and it kind of it basically adds itself automatically most of the time in BIOS. Sometimes you have to go in and select a certain hard drive, but you really don't need to select a certain hard drive. If you go into BIOS, just make sure that Windows Boot Manager is the first thing that's selected, Windows will automatically look through the hard drives and figure out which one has Windows on it and boot into that.
I feel like it makes it a lot more efficient if you tell the computer where it's at, though. It just locates it quicker.
Doesn't make a difference. Trust me. I've tried it. I've
My
tried.
my understanding is Windows will select the faster SSD and load the Windows on the faster SSD.
No,
No,
no. You're
no.
the one who manually picks which SSD you're putting Windows on. So, what I was gonna say is, if you have your SSD with Windows on it right now, if you put it in the second slot, you don't have to do anything. You literally just put it in the second slot, install your new one, that's the faster one, in the first slot, and boot the computer out, bro. And then when you get into Windows, partition the new SSD, and that's it. That's all I did. I did the same exact
Cavalry.
process.
So it sounds like a lot of work.
No, it's not.
It's
It's literally
really not. It's, really not.
it's literally
I'm
just
I'm
installing.
just lazy. I'm just lazy and I don't want to do it because I already
you-
have it set up the way it is. And
Don't you
I
have
just
that
don't want to go
SSD
back.
just still sitting on your computer? You bought it. Remember
No,
we
no,
went.
that's what I'm saying. I put it in. I just put it in the second slot because
Nah, then who
I
gives a
didn't want
fuck?
to
It
do
doesn't
anything.
really matter, bro.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I just use it for a couple of games, some backup
it's
pictures
fine.
that I
In the
have.
second slot, it's fine. I mean, it's
works.
not. It's not getting its optimal performance, but guess what? It's not getting its optimal performance anyways because you have
It
two
works.
in there.
It works, but it does better than a regular SSD anyway. So
It's like you're not gonna notice a difference. And what happens is when you install more than one NVMe, basically each NVMe will take up lanes directly that go to the CPU. So when you add more, they have to split up the lanes across the NVMe's. That's why you get slowage.
makes it think a little bit more.
Exactly.
By the way, talking about that stuff, right? Like talking about technology. So apparently, scientists just got closer to creating artificial life in the lab. Well, obviously, this is like, a little bit misleading, right? So basically, what they did, like, there's the story behind that, like the way life started. It started from mRNA, which, if you remember, guys, mRNA was the byproduct of DNA. But the organisms back in the day, they only had mRNA, and then slowly developed, right, by producing proteins and then cloning themselves into DNA. So they were able to create this RNA that created other RNAs. So they're basically saying that we're getting closer to most primitive intelligence in the lab.
That'd be interesting
So
if
that's
they combined that biological technology basically over time with AI.
AI. Yeah.
Because
And I saw an
it's not
article.
a robot that looks mechanical that is serving your food and maybe talks and acts like a human because the AI is that and that good. But now imagine something that looks, feels, even smells like a human. You know what I mean?
That's a beast.
Yeah, I just saw an
That's a
article that
That's
they
a
said
scary
that
movie right
That's
there.
a scary movie. I ain't gonna lie.
they just talked about that AI is creating artificial intelligence
that
right now.
that
So
reminds me of Maze Runner, like
I watched.
the mechanical things in Maze Runner.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's funny because they're like gooey and stuff, but
Yeah,
they're
they're
also like
mechanical, but
robotic.
they have flesh.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
so
watched that
go
movie.
ahead.
And I read the books. I've read the books and watched the movies. So they're very good. The books
I,
are
I like
amazing.
the movies. It's a good concept, survival.
But I will say so. The reason I read the book, so I was watching this show called Teen Wolf, which Rodolfo got me into when we were in like middle school. I think it was. The actor, one of the main actors, named Dylan O'Brien, which is the main guy in Maze Runner. Um, he had like a couple projects that were coming out, and I had gotten into like his work because of Teen Wolf, and I saw that they did like a teaser trailer with him for Maze Runner like months. I think it was even almost like a year before the movie came out, and so I was like, oh shit, that's a book. I'm gonna read the book. I want to read the book. Everyone's always talking about Harry Potter and all these fucking other books and shit, and like the movies are trash and it's not. It's like I want to take this experience on myself. I read the book. I read the first book. Man, that book was awesome. It's fucking awesome. Like when it comes to sci-fi fiction, just like teenage story, like anybody who's in high school that likes anything in that genre, I recommend that book for you. Even as an adult, I think it's a cool book.
Did you guys ever read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children?
I watched the show or whatever.
The
movie, yeah.
The movie is good too.
Yeah.
I watched the movie because of the book. It's a freaky book in a sense because of the pictures that they add.
Oh, there's
it.
like pictures in the book.
Yeah, and they're kind of creepy.
It's funny that you say that because the Maze Runner book that I bought was the cinematic version.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of like pictures of the.
So there was pictures of the actual movie in the book.
Oh, okay, I see.
You see what I mean?
I
and it wasn't during the book, but it was at the end. It was at the end. At the end of the book, there was like 5 or 6
I
pages
think there was
that
a
was like
book that I've owned.
pictures of the movie from the actual movie.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice, I think, was one of
That was
those.
a cool. That was a cool movie.
Yeah, they
That
had a
was a cool
movie and
movie.
they also had a book, and I remember having the book with pictures on it as well.
Yeah, like actual live action pictures,
Yeah,
right, from the
from the
movie.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, so they
it
did
was
like cinema
it was
versions of
played, I
these
think,
books.
by Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage and
I don't
I
remember
forgot
the
the guy's
younger
name. But yeah,
guy.
Nicolas Cage is the sorcerer, right? But what I was saying was with Maze Runner, it was one of those books where I read it, and then when the movie came out, man, I was pissed. I felt like all those Harry Potter fans did when they went to when they were complaining when those movies came out. Oh, these movies are trash. The
What's
books
your
are so much better.
What's your
I
guys'
felt exactly like that.
What's your guys' favorite class whenever you guys play like a video games? You got like the warrior, you got the priest,
Um,
you got the mage. For me, I like the mage. Anything that's like wizard, I like that shit.
See, I'm really into the whole magic thing. I think most of my choices will be the magic mage, right? Will be mage, but sometimes I'll pick the barbarian
Or the warrior,
or the Viking or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I
the
mean?
warrior class.
Yeah, the warrior brute force class.
Mm.
You know, the basically that's the best way to put it. The brute force.
What about you, Jay? You seem more like a barbarian type of guy.
Cinder block Jay.
No, I always played with a warrior. I always liked the crazy
Yeah.
weapon the warrior can get.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean they usually
I
do
never
have cool
really.
weapons. That's for sure.
Have you
Yeah,
ever,
Usually are
they
dual
have cool weapons.
wielding.
did you ever play Black Desert?
No.
No, it's a Korean grind fest game basically, but the combat system is really what it stands out, and the berserker class is probably something that I would see, Jay, and they wield these double
I'm telling you, they
hammer.
dual wield everything, bro.
They're like hammer fist basically, and they just punch. They're like cannon fists almost.
No character does dual wielding better than Asuma
Azuma.
from Naruto. Shikamaru and Shikamaru Sensei.
Oh, Asuna.
Asuma. It's with an M.
Asuna.
No, it's Asuma. Asuma. I'm pretty sure it's with an M.
Look it up. Look it up. I think it's Asuma.
It's you
With an
think it's.
M.
I
So
think
the
it's with
thing
an
with
M.
the mage or like the
Yeah, Asuma
casting
Sarutobi,
spells
bro.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, Suma with an M.
I said M. You said
I
N.
said N.
You said N. You said Asuna.
Asuna. Yeah, I thought it
So
was Asuna. Yeah.
so the mage or any of the mages or any of the ones that cast spells, I never found them to be like powerful enough in the beginning. So you would die a lot. So that's why I never really liked
See,
them. So you kind of like play all the way to the end of the game for it to become powerful.
actually that's funny you say that, Jay, because I was actually just gonna go into exactly that. Where lately I've been kind of where I don't have a set one. Like I just go into the game and I think, what is my play style gonna be for this specific game, right? Like when Diablo.
All those games, every game is so. What's the best class to play now?
Yeah, I do hate that a little bit. That is kind of annoying.
Back then, games weren't like that. And one game that really brought out the love for me, it was Fiesta Online back then. And that game, they had the mages and they controlled the elements, and you could bring down this big ice nova that just fell from the sky, and it was really cool. You could control mobs with that, and they had like this infernal circle that they would summon as well. But my favorite ability was this fireball. They would be able to run and throw a fireball later on at level 49. At level 40 they got the ability, but you weren't able to like cast it while moving until 49, and that progression in that game was really cool.
But so yeah, that is right. Fiesta.
But yeah, Fiesta Online. He's not wrong though. Mages did die a lot early on, and they're
Exactly.
super
That's-
weak. But
That's what you're looking at.
if you can avoid and you can play tactically, they are so annoying.
So there you go. That's what I was gonna say.
They
You
have a
break
lot of
down these
tools.
classes into tanks and what would you consider the mage?
Priest, heal. Oh, the mage.
Yeah, it's so
DPS.
barbar exactly. It would be a DPS role where. But the cool thing with the mage is, like you're saying, in the beginning of the game, you kind of have to do like a poke and run style because
Yeah.
you can't
If you
stay
just
in
stand there, you'll die.
you can't stay in the pocket. You know, you can't fucking be Max Holloway like a barbarian. You know, you have to poke and run, poke and run, poke and run. But like Jay said, in long term, it's poke and run through. You know what I mean? With the mage, like you just get this shit so powerful that from long range I kill you and I just keep running.
Mm-hmm.
Versus with the barbarian, he's like the barbarian. What I noticed with like tank classes, your best thing you're getting is like multipliers over time, right? So you still have to
If you're fighting over long periods of time, they tend to do well.
exactly.
But if it's
that's
just
the
quick damage,
DPS is the
yeah,
way, right?
yep.
Like that's
But
exactly that's the key word.
Mhm.
Time takes more time to fight now with the
Mhm.
barbarian, even in long
You can
term.
get kited a lot more.
but see with Diablo, like for example Diablo, because you can recruit people, right? Like for me, it worked where you would have your tanks or your warriors up front, and then you would have your mages that were recruited with the ones that
Yeah, they
archers.
sit in the back.
We would just like smashing, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
and that worked out really well because I knew I'm gonna recruit a couple of them throughout the game, and then you just bump them up.
It
You
also
know what I
depends on
mean?
the
And
player
then
too.
sometimes you can take control of him.
He's referring more to a PvE scenario, player versus environment. We're referring more to a player versus player environment.
Or even a
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
mix, even a mix
It
environment.
depends again,
But you're
all on the
thinking,
player.
I think your brain is more league
I'm more PvP
oriented.
oriented towards
Yeah, towards
most games.
that. No, no, not that. I'm just saying in that game style specifically. Whereas me, when I've played games like that, like for example, the only two games I've played like that I've played and learned has been Diablo, and then you can consider Elden Ring kind of one of those because Elden Ring has that option where you can be a fucking kind of like straight. Not really, because
Nobody
Elden
really
Ring is
does healing.
the one thing about Elden Ring is it's stupid hard. It is a whole nother level of that kind of game. You know what I
I'm
mean?
kind of
Like,
happy to say that I actually played Elden Ring and I actually kind of
no,
beat it.
man.
So
This is the thing though. It was game of the year, man. It was
yeah,
an awesome fucking game. We had a lot of fun.
it's a good
I think
experience.
it's a really cool game in the sense where, personally, I'm not a single player game guy anymore. I find it very hard to spend the time and finish out a full game. Like for example, I got the PlayStation. Ozzy gifted me with that PlayStation, and I got Ghost of Tsushima, which I have been waiting to play since it came out. That game's been out for like 7 years. I played probably 3/4 of the game, and then like I just can't find myself to sit back down and play the rest of it out.
I tried downloading Sekiro Shadows Die twice and I can't fucking get past the first boss,
I've
dude.
heard
You
Sekiro
know,
is
the same thing
really,
happened to me
really
with
hard.
Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed, same thing happened to me. Where like 3/4 of the game, you're like,
Which
See,
one?
yeah,
Which one?
I'm
all
Because
of
talking
them,
about the
there's
first
all
one.
of
so
them,
many of them.
all of them.
All of
The
them.
only games that really finished is God of War.
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed, I finished all of
It's
them
a
that I
cool
played,
game.
except for Black Flag.
Very long games though. Black Flag actually destroyed that
I
game.
hate
I
that game.
completed the living shit out of that
I
game. I
hated,
loved it.
I hated that game. What's
Assassin's
up,
Creed the
Alex? What's up, my daddy?
Assassin's Creed the first one. That one was a tough game for me because I was younger and I didn't really know what to do. But that one had a lot of exploration to it.
Yes, Eddie, Jay
There,
needs a shot for sure.
there's something since I was a little kid that attracted me extremely to Assassin's Creed, and it was specifically the parkour.
The parkour was cool.
I
Yeah,
loved the parkour element of Assassin's Creed ever since the first game. When I remember, I didn't own the first game. Rodolfo owned the first game, and I played that shit on Xbox.
I'm kind of
Uh,
salty that you said that you didn't like Black Flag.
you know what's funny?
What is it that you didn't like about Black Flag?
So
Because Black Flag brought so many new things to Assassin's
so
Creed. Like
you want to hear
the
what
the
my
ship part was so fucking cool.
I want
Which
you want
was
to hear?
already it wasn't a new thing because the Civil War one already had it and I had played it. I think it was 3.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
But
It's not the same.
the-
Civil War, Assassin's Creed 3.
they did the open world so well.
So this is what I didn't like about Black Flag. I don't like
You don't
pirate games.
No,
I'm not a big
I
fan
love
of
pirate games.
See,
That's
this
what
is
it
my
is.
thing. Okay, ready? Maybe now as an adult, I like pirate games a little bit because I've played not pirate games,
Don't
but
say Sea of Thieves.
not see. I haven't played Sea of Thieves, but I'm saying
What?
I've played games that are on the ocean and stuff like that, like Raft, and I don't. That
They're
doesn't
typically
bother
not
me.
realistic though.
They're not realistic. But what I was gonna say, when I was a kid, I wanted fast paced shit, man. You telling me I had to spend 30 minutes sailing across the fucking sea?
No.
Yep.
I'm not
You're
doing
just,
that.
You're just. I'm not gonna make you feel dumb, but that's stupid. You can
I don't
teleport,
have a.
but you can
Oh,
teleport.
I mean, when you had to go, I get you didn't have to go 30 minutes, but sometimes you had to fucking
Yeah,
ride for 10 minutes straight.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
That
know
shit
what
was
you're saying.
annoying.
that is
Really, I
annoying.
will tell you the
Yeah.
reason I stopped playing Black Flag, I got super irritated through about 3 or 4 sessions on the same mission. The reason that I got fucked up on this mission was by the time I started playing the game, YouTube was out, how to do every mission was out, boom, boom. I got frustrated enough. I go and look up how to do this shit. What the fuck am I doing wrong? Because I just kept getting murdered. You were supposed to take down Blackbeard's ship. It was that mission, right? Boom, I'm watching. I'm like, wait, but I'm already past that part. How am I supposed to beat it? What happened was you follow his ship
Yep.
behind
remember.
him
Yep.
for a certain amount of time, and they drop off
In-
these little barrels,
In the land.
and you're supposed to shoot them to basically before they drop them off to do damage to the ship, so that way when you get out to open sea, you fuck him up. He's already low health. I had already gotten checkpointed past that without doing the damage. So I just got fucked in the ass every time in open sea because it's Blackbeard's ship that's like 20 levels above yours. So I couldn't get past the mission. There was no way unless I restarted the whole mission, and that's when I said, "Fuck you, Black Flag."
Oh, okay. I feel you because I think there were some glitches in that game, and I do remember having to go back in my game files
But you want to hear what I
because I
have to
fucked
say
up.
about Black Flag? I
Say
think
something positive, or I'm gonna
no,
hate
no,
you
no. So
forever.
the positive,
No,
the
I'm just
positive
joking.
thing about Black Flag, it is ranked the number one Assassin's Creed game of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know why I think it's ranked the number one Assassin's Creed game of all time? Because it's not even an Assassin's Creed game. You never become an assassin. You kill the assassin stuff, take his shit. You work a little bit under the Creed, but in the end, because I've watched the gameplay, you fuck off. You never become an assassin. You don't really work for them. It has nothing to do with the Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
the game isn't really an Assassin's
You
Creed
really
game.
just
It's
you
more of
kind of
a
just
pirate.
prevent. You kind of just save the world, and that's it.
I mean, you save the world in every Assassin's Creed game. It's a video game. You save the world
True,
all the time. But what I'm saying
but in
is,
this one, maybe it just didn't feel as meaningful.
it wasn't a traditional Assassin's Creed game of Athens, Europe, like the parkour. The parkour was in the jungle, and it just threw me off. It
Now I'm
wasn't.
gonna ask you this: Do you like the newer Assassin's Creed games more than Black Flag?
So the last Assassin's Creed game I really
Because
really
I feel like
enjoyed was
even the
number
ones
three.
that they keep releasing, they're just so buggy and glitchy, and they have all these fucking issues, and the damage counters have become ridiculous. You're doing 10,000 damage. Like, why don't they just make the numbers so much easier?
Yeah, my favorite, my definitely though my favorite Assassin's Creed game is the shortest one, number three. That Civil War one, I don't know what it was. I really liked the storyline of the little Native American
Mm-hmm.
kid.
I
It
remember
was a
getting that
nice.
game and playing the
It
fuck
was,
out of it too.
bro. I played it twice. I
I
beat
play,
it.
I remember getting it
I
that
beat
same
it
night
twice.
and played it for like 8 hours straight.
And like I like the mixture. You had the English architecture to parkour through, but then you also had not English, sorry, the American architecture you to parkour
Mm-hmm.
through. I think during parts of the game you do go overseas. Might be
I don't
wrong. I know
remember.
it's
I don't remember. I don't even remember if I finished that game. I remember playing a shit ton of it, but I don't remember if I finished it.
was that game wasn't Civil War. It was Revolution. It was the American Revolution during that game.
It was during Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, it was the American Revolution.
American Revolution
Yep.
wasn't Civil War. Yes, because I remember you were fighting the Brits and shit,
Mm-hmm.
fucking chasing down Charles E. Lee,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
That's the guy you wanted to kill in the end. Um, that game was really cool. It had a mixture of like actual architecture that you parkoured through, and then you had the forest. You got to
One
jump through trees. You had a
another
bow and arrow.
another
That shit was
pirate
badass.
game that I really, really,
And you had a
really, really
gun.
liked was Pirates of the Caribbean Online
I never played any of
from
those.
Disney, and it was so cool, dude. When I was a kid, just you know how you when you're a kid, you have this imagination, so you whatever you do, you're having fun doing whatever the fuck it is.
I'll tell you this, man. I think like for example, I've talked to a lot of other people that played Assassin's Creed, and you're one of the only ones who've told me that they really enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3. Um, and I've noticed this when it comes to games like that, especially games that we played as fucking children. We intake them as we did as children and how they connected with us. They could have been the fucking worst game of all time. It could have been from Jay's time when he was an adult playing it. And he's like, bro, when that game came out, we all roasted the shit out of it. It was horrible. I don't care. I loved it. It made me happy as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've noticed that happens a lot with gamers like us.
yeah. Some people just don't like certain styles. Again, you don't like pirates. I love
And
pirates,
and and that's a
and I've
style.
been waiting for a really good pirate game, but it's just nobody really knows how to make a really good pirate game.
So from what I've heard, I think that Alex is the one who told me this, that the reason the Assassin's Creed Black Flag thing was so pirate oriented was because I think EA was actually developing another pirate based game that got canceled, so they kind of made that Assassin's Creed into that pirate game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Could be.
So I think that's what happened there, and that's what I'm saying. Like I think one of the reasons you see Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the top of that list is because it's not even an Assassin's Creed game, bro. It's a whole different kind of game, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with that. And it's not my kind of game, and I'm okay everybody else liked it. But it wasn't even a fucking Assassin's Creed game, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it also I guess has sentimental value to me because I remember just fucking getting there on my birthday released. I think like the
That's
day
for sure.
before
You're
or
never gonna
after.
forget that.
So I just showed up to the store, got my game, and I just went home and played it.
I will say this actually, my the 4 or 5 Assassin's Creed games that I actually owned, I never bought. I had a family friend, actually Doctor Santos's son Tito. He always gifted to. He always gifted. He knew he for some reason. I think they gifted me the game one year. Like Lynette told him I wanted it or
Dude, I got
whatever.
so many games as a kid. That's all
And
I would spend my money
and
on.
every Christmas they would buy me the new Assassin's Creed as a little kid. I
I
remember
had
that.
I had 3 full drawers of Xbox 360 games just packed full.
Oh shit! Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed will always be one of my favorite games of all time. That's for sure.
So I got 4 articles. We got
Big
an article about a notorious orange man. Then I got a declassified video shows Dragonfire laser weapon in action. 12 cars we can't wait to drive. And Seiko unveils new Presage Classic series.
let's talk about Orange Man, and then we'll talk about watches afterwards.
Orange man. All right.
By
So the
Orange Man,
article reads
you mean
incredible.
Mr. Trump?
Yeah,
I figured.
incredible. Look who Trump may have given classified info to now. Better known as the Trump employee number 5 is the classified documents case has shared new information about his former bosses. A former Mar-a-Lago employee
See,
has revealed that Donald Trump shared
one
information
second,
on the
Jay.
classified documents.
You're sounding a little off.
What microphone is he using?
Yeah. What are you using for microphone?
My computer microphone.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah. No, it sounded like it was breaking up. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
sounded
like
normal earlier, and then
like
now
lag.
it's breaking up. Yeah, like a lag.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A former Mar-a-Lago employee has revealed that Donald Trump shared information on the classified documents he kept after leaving the presidency with another he felt like. Brian Butler, who works for Trump for 20 years, shared the explosive information with CNN Caitlin Collins Monday night, when Trump was indicted for keeping classified documents at the Florida resort. Butler was identified in the indictment as the Trump employee number 5. Butler has not been charged. At one point, Collins asked Butler if he ever saw Trump carelessly throwing around national security information. Butler said that the most egregious instance he saw was right after Trump met with Australian billionaire Anthony Pratt. Pratt, a cardboard and recycling company CEO, is the third richest man in Australia. The new program 60 Minutes Australia reported in October that he had obtained audio recording of Pratt describing his extraordinary dealings with Trump. During one conversation, Trump allegedly told Pratt 2 highly classified details about U.S. nuclear submarines, how many nuclear warheads each sub carried, and how close a vessel could get to a Russian sub before it was detected.
What I want to know, like,
So he basically bragged.
yeah, that's what it
From
sounds
what it
like to
looks like, he
me.
basically bragged.
Like, what? How does a
Yeah,
conversation like this even come about? Like I'm a
because they're
guy in
probably
They're
talking
power.
about
they're really just kind of bored and they don't have anything else to talk about, so they're like, oh,
or they're
military.
measuring dicks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
to
They're
me it
measuring
sounds
dicks, and it's like, well,
to me
guess
it sounds
what?
like they're
You know?
measuring dicks.
In a
Like,
way, yeah.
Yeah.
and you know Donald Trump's not gonna let anyone measure longer than he does. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna spit out anything he
Yeah.
can to give himself another inch. You know,
Yeah.
because like
But he also talked a lot of shit about Biden, so he was condemned for that in the media as well.
I mean, everybody talks shit about Biden. I mean, the guy, he did a good
Bro,
job. He
you
had a
know
good
how
run.
bad this is?
I mean, I
You know
wouldn't
how
say he had a
bad
good
this is?
run, but he had a run.
Italians made a mock reel on Instagram about Biden. Biden is walking up to the fucking stand and then falls, and all these security people, Mr. Biden, President Biden, trying to pick him up. Like it got to the point where like other nations are making fun of Biden.
He's basically getting the participation trophy of
but
leaders.
let me ask you this though:
Well, he,
are they making fun of him more than they made fun of Trump? Hell no. Hell no. The entire world made a laughing stock out of America
The
when
thing
that
is
man
that
went into office.
Trump knows how to turn that
so
into.
Because he knows how to banter, that's different. But I'm saying like the entire world was talking shit about Trump. Like how the
so
hell
this
we
is
let
what
that guy get
happened.
in office?
So this is what happened when Biden came out and he talked recently. Everyone was expecting that he's gonna like mumble and say stuff that makes no sense, being coherent, right? But he was very coherent and he like finished his speech and everything. And I think what happened, people were like, "Well, we're expecting you not to finish the speech." They're like, "Kudos to you, you finished." Not because like he's a good orator, but like because he was able to finish the speech. You know what I mean? So with Biden, I think what's happening majority of the grief that they have is the dementia, and the cocktails that he has to take to be up and running. But
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I was actually
Biden also has his dog Commander, who's bit like 26 something
I've
times.
heard about that.
There
He's
was a
been in a
comedian.
bunch of Secret Service
I don't
guys.
remember who his name was. I think his name started Josh. I think it is. But he made this joke on how a dog shouldn't have more bites than years of life. so, so he
That's
should have
actually
been
funny
put
as fuck.
Al-
down.
Alex said something interesting. He said a showrunner by The Apprentice came out and said that Trump regularly shit in his diapers during filming. Now,
That's
I don't know how much I
that's
believe that
that
shit. I think it's
sounds
just like
funny
talking
as fuck.
shit.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
think they're
like
just
someone might
talking
be just be
shit at this
talking
point.
shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But we do have to
You know,
also
it is
respect
what it is.
that, I think it's I not to say that the man Biden is struggling with his age. But like for example,
He's struggling
today,
for sure.
but for today I was overhearing my dad, he was watching a video where they like had a compilation of all of Trump's mess ups, of him stumbling over his words and
It
and
happens
and
to
out
Yeah,
everybody,
muttering.
man. I mean,
Bro, they're 75 plus years old. Of course it's gonna
and
happen to them.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I mean, I guess not gonna say of course because my grandpa's 87 and he makes funny fucking jokes and doesn't stutter. But I don't know. Maybe I
Yeah,
guess it's
your
all the
grandpa can run
plantains.
for a president and be okay.
I
Your
mean,
grandpa literally can run for the president and
if
be
you
okay.
ask me, you're gonna put Negrito and Biden and Trump in one a cage. Negrito fucking
Oh,
both of them
Negrito
up.
winning.
He fucking
Yeah,
both
he's
of them
winning.
up.
Both at the same
It's
time.
actually
He's
hilarious.
winning.
Emily calls me yesterday. She goes, "Your grandpa's the best." I'm like, "What?" She's called me randomly to tell me this. Your grandpa's the best. I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I just saw him riding his bike around the neighborhood. It made me so happy. See him on his bike, bro." Like, I was telling my dad this today. Actually, I literally told him this today. I was like, "Man, I was looking at a picture. I actually the first thing I told him was I looked at him and I go, I'm convinced my grandfather's immortal." He started laughing. He goes, Negrito? He was like, yeah. Well, clearly not his dad, but
Also,
uh, and he's
talking
like,
about
yeah.
that,
And I was like, bro, I looked at a picture of like 20 years ago, like around when I was born, of Negrito for like one of Lynette's birthday parties or something. Bro, he looked exactly the same. He looks exactly the same. My dad goes, "Yep." The only thing I think he's just a little slower. Like the years have cotton onto his efficiency, but that's about it. My guy still hustles, bro. He still sells sneakers and
it,
sends clothes to DR. Like he's still on it, bro.
it's a little bit sad when you look back at pictures and you're like, damn, these people have
So
changed so
I
much.
I found this weird effect. Do you ever like? So think of it this way. Say you've known someone like the
Tao
gargoyle,
homie,
huh?
Tao homie.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's been there for like a week, but it's yours now. It's like for example, the gargoyle, right? The gargoyle.
Gargoyle's still
Gargoyle.
active. He out there slinging.
The gargoyle. You've known the gargoyle all your life, right? You've been seeing him all your life. But has this ever happened to you where for a long period of time you have a preconception of what he looks like, what his face is like, and all these things? And a lot of times this preconception is from older years. And it's not until you like look at him and like kind of examine the face and all these things, you're like, damn, I'm gonna got some years on him since last time I really noticed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I kind of noticed that happening with my grandpa and my grandma and a lot of my uncles.
My grandma especially, yeah.
But that's like a weird
so
effect. It's like it's not until you actually sit there and examine, like, damn, yeah, that motherfucker got old.
I mean,
They got old. They
I mean,
got some years on them.
sometimes they feel
I got
old
two
too.
things.
Because
And
I
you,
went to my grandma's house the other day and I was like, "How you feeling?" From a distance because I was in the car. "How you feeling?" She was like, "I hito, you know." I was like, "Damn, I can't ever ask you how you feeling because you always tell me you always have some pain."
So talking about that, like the longevity of life. So apparently, scientists. I was reading an article earlier today. They figured out that there's this medicine that can kill zombie cells in your bloodstream in your body, which effectively could increase your lifespan by 30 years. That medicine specifically you cannot buy, but there is one that. Now, this is not a fucking medical advice. Don't fucking just buy this. Go do your research, right? So there's this thing is called quercetin that you can buy on Amazon, and apparently this does a very similar thing. And there are foods that, also do that, like cilantro, apples, eating with the skin and things like that, right? So there's that. But then Alex said Biden wants to give $400 a month tax credit to people buy to to help people buy homes. This is what's going to happen, in my opinion. Every time you give extra money to people, companies and people know that there's extra money, and what do? They raise the prices of
Mm-hmm. Yep.
everything. It doesn't stay stagnant. Like unless it comes up with a law that says you cannot raise the price of the homes, which you cannot do because then that becomes a socialist communist republic, or give the money and then prices go up. So um, another thing happened recently when the Fed just cut interest rates a little bit because of the inflation markers that came up. But with inflation being cut, people are already buying houses with these high interest rates. They're going to continue buying the houses because they're paying for the mortgage X amount of money a month. They're going to continue paying that X amount of money a month, whether the interest rate's being cut or not.
Yeah,
So what's
deal's
going
been
to
made.
happen? Price of the houses are going to go up. They're just going to go up. So how is this going to benefit? Is going to benefit people that already bought the house and they can refinance it at the lower interest rate. So they'll drop their cost of their home, right? But monthly cost of their home. But the new buyers with a lower interest rate still going to pay high interest rates. They're just going to pay high
High
mortgage
prices for
payments on a monthly
homes.
basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this thing of like giving money to people,
I
it
mean,
only benefits companies
even
and people that are selling, not the ones that are buying.
even when you want to say, like, we'll put it into perspective of we were
Ah,
in a time of need during COVID, right?
yeah,
Where people weren't being able to work and all those things. And we got that first stimulus check. What was it, like $1,100, something like that?
yeah,
1,500
Bro,
bucks.
Amazon made the most money that week they've ever made ever.
yes, yes.
Ever.
People
So
were
I think it's one of those things
people
that
were
kind of
buying
goes to
Moschino
show,
shirts
like,
at
yeah, giving money to
$400 a
people in
pop.
need is not a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But majority of these people don't know how to use their money in the first place, and that's why they're fucking in need. So it's kind of one of those things like yeah, the monkey needs water, but the monkey's habit is to fucking throw away water. You know what I mean? Like,
That's see, Alex is like, well, they're also coming down after the companies that mass buying. It's already too late. BlackRock damn near owns 80% of the homes. Bunch of these Vanguards, they own damn near 80% of the homes. Like the big companies are the ones that own majority of the homes. So it's too late now. They
and the
already
the,
done made their money.
the biggest problem is they're buying all the homes and not selling. They're renting, and so
Correct.
home like
They're
people who want to
renting them.
actually
Yes.
buy for personal homes are in a
And
big problem
I.
right now.
and that's
This
the
is just
that
a
the thing
smoke
about
and
property
mirrors.
and the property deal is that everybody needs a property to live in, so everybody's gonna buy regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? That like he's not actually helping anyone but the companies, but the people that are selling, not the buyers. Buyers are going to be in the same shit as they are right now. So anyway. So we have the classified video showing Dragonfire laser weapon in action, which is kind of cool. So
I would like to see. This is interesting, Alex. You said, Alex says they are also coming after companies mass buying homes to bring down the market. I would like to see how they're going to come after these companies. Like, what exactly are they going to implement?
well, they can say you can't buy, right? They can't say can't buy, but if they already done bought up everything, what do they care? What do they care? Okay, we can't buy, we can't buy. We already
I
own
mean,
majority.
I guess if they can come up with the facts and numbers, basically saying, "Hey, you guys buying this amount of homes is doing this to the economy. You're gonna have to pay some kind of fee for this. You're making all the money
So
anyways with all the
Maybe
Apple
some
had
type of
this
fee if you have a certain amount of homes,
yeah,
or
Apple
an increased
Apple
tax because you own this many homes.
exactly.
Apple had this ingenious strategy several years back that started around 5 to 10 years back, where they calculated how much money a person would spend at an Apple store buying Apple products, right? And their thing wasn't that these people are going to buy outright the products, they're going to finance it, right? So you buy a computer, you buy this, you buy that. So it came down to like $300-400 every month that people will be paying to Apple. It's that subscription model, right? And I think what these home buyers are doing, they're doing the same exact thing. They're buying the subscription model because think about it, the freemium games, like they took a page out of the tech industry and they just literally put it for work.
Eh, I feel like it's the other way around. People have been buying and renting out homes before the tech industry.
Yeah, but not in the same quantities
And
as they're doing right now.
maybe not in the same quantities, but you were still seeing development of homes. Like, for example, the entire Kenneth City was basically a development that this guy bought out all this land, developed all these houses. That's why they're all the fucking same, you know?
Yeah, but That was back in like 50s, 60s, like
That's what
40s,
I'm
50s,
saying. They've been
60s.
doing this for a while.
Yeah, but those back in 50s, 40s, 60s. Like now, is there a possibility in Apopka they're gonna build houses? Yes. Who wants to move to Apopka?
That's true. You got to find the right
You know
areas.
what I mean? Like you
That's
gotta
true.
find
But
the area
besides
where they're
that,
gonna build the houses. Who's gonna move to Apopka? What is the economic benefit for a young family to live in Apopka where they don't have jobs that are higher paying? Like how is this even gonna work?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So all this is like a beautiful dream. And watch, if they see that Biden is losing, I think what's going to happen, they're going to come in and start canceling student loans. That's going to be another weapon they're going to use is canceling of the student loans. So that's going to be another thing. But I want to talk about this laser that British military has demonstrated. It's like it's from my childhood dreams, like actually seeing a laser working. You know what I mean? Because of the sci-fi movies. And these guys made a straight up laser that shoots a beam directly to whatever they're uh, pointing at. The UK's 100 million Dragonfire laser weapon can be seen going through its pace as it blasts test bench and field targets, including drones and mortar rounds. So, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, pretty soon we're gonna have that Star Wars. Pew,
I was
pew, pew,
literally gonna
pew.
say these motherfuckers playing Star Wars, and it's
Yeah,
funny because the new Star Wars, not new Star Wars, but a remastered of the OG Battlefront games, comes out in 2 days.
I might actually play that because I was a huge fan of the Battlefront
Oh,
PlayStation 2
we
games.
playing it, baby.
The
We playing it.
PlayStation 2 Battlefront games were fucking
Angel told me he
sick.
already pre-ordered it. He's just waiting for it to drop.
Damn, I just how much is the pre-order?
$30.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
That's I would do
bro.
that. I
Hey
would do
man,
that. I
it's
would do
old
that.
ass games. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's an old ass
I
game. They
honestly
just
just want it
re-releasing.
repopulated. That's all it is.
At least
Because
it's not gonna be a dead game, you know, like
yeah, I mean at least not
for a few
initially.
months.
For a few days or weeks.
Yeah,
I
eventually
always
it's gonna
like
die.
Battlefield. I always like Modern Warfare better.
So Battlefront is just like a Star Wars style, like
Oh, Battlefront, not Battlefield.
Yeah,
big
it's
team.
an open battlefield. What is it? 30v30.
Yeah, you can do like 30v30 or even more, I think,
Yeah,
or like a minimum is like 18-18, I think.
for those old ones. For the new ones, you can have fucking 64 or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Crazy maps.
Uh, which I think is pretty. I want to see how they're gonna do it. Like, what's the mechanics gonna be like? Is it gonna be as original and close to the old ones as possible, or they gonna update certain things? How the game's gonna look? I think that's gonna be a big thing for me. Because man,
So probably just updated
it's more than
textures.
likely updated graphics, and that's about it.
Yeah, gameplay's still fun. Fuck it.
I'm kind of interested in what it's gonna look like. But yeah, that's funny you say Star Wars because I was actually gonna bring that up that they have the new Star Wars game coming out. Um, what's that watch
So there's
you were talking about
another
earlier?
watch you want to watch. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we can take a look at the
It's a
new.
Seiko. It's a Seiko Presage watches that they came out with. Textured dials, which kind of look really cool
Oh,
to
you're
me.
talking about the ones that are textured like Japanese silk?
Yeah,
I think I saw that today actually on my feed. Yes, yes, the new textured dials. Here, can I? Is there any way I can make this big for the screen? Oh, sorry.
You have to go monitor full screen, right in the
I
center.
can put I can put my screen. I got it up.
It's all right. It's all right. I
Okay.
got it.
You can hit cancel on top where it says SD.
What do you, Jay? Let me ask you this: what do you think about that new bracelet that Seiko's doing? You see, like almost a Jubilee
Like a
five
Jubilee
link,
stuff.
yeah, 5 link
I
style
think
bracelet.
they're chasing after clout, because Jubilee is probably the most wanted bracelet
You think so?
in
I
Rolex
don't know about you. I
watches.
think you're the same as me. You're more of an oyster bracelet style fan, right?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Just because my hands are too hairy to wear a Jubilee. You know
Yeah, I
what I
think
mean?
these are
You
supposed
get
to
hair gets stuck in rhythm.
these new dials are supposed to imitate Japanese silk, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like how they did multiple colors. They also did one that has like an open face work. I saw. So this doesn't show all of them, but one of them actually has open face work with a 24-hour dial instead of having a date window. This has like an open heartbeat, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I noticed they're using a not like the normal 4R movement in these because it's got a 3-day power reserve.
Yeah.
The dial's pretty cool, and I do like the little second markings on the internal little
Yeah.
bezel.
I
I think
like the
that's amazing.
salmon color and the white.
The
I
new
like
metal
both white and
plastic
salmon.
is gonna be 60v60 in
In some
some
modes,
modes.
they are recently are updating and type to build more homes, more populated areas.
I didn't
Okay.
realize that you added a chat box there.
Oh, the chat box is actually working in this one.
I
That's
mean, there's a
hilarious.
chat box on that one, so
Yeah,
it's gonna be working on it.
that's funny. The chat box usually doesn't work. That's hilarious. That's good. I like it. Yeah, the new Seiko is
So
nice. I like it.
so there's
But
10
for
new cars. Oh,
900, I don't know.
yeah, it's a lot.
I would
12
like to
new
know what
cars.
movement.
12 new cars we can't wait to drive. I want you to look at this and tell me which ones would you want to drive and not.
Are you sharing your screen?
I can if you want.
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen, and then we can look at it. The whole pod can see it because right now we have the. You're big right now. We're little, if you know what I mean.
You see
So
it? You see it? You should be able to see it now.
yes, sir. I can see it. 1 second. It's loading.
All right, so the first one is Ford Mustang GTD.
Yeah, I saw when they came out
Um,
talking about this car. It definitely looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. For a Mustang, it
Pickles is.
looks pretty cool.
And then the next one is Cadillac Celestiq. I don't know if I would want to drive that.
I
It
don't
looks
know.
too
It
old
looks
for a
like
car.
it looks like they tried to like make the CTSV wagon again, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Celestic buyers will fork 300 grand for that. Get the fuck out of here. That's
yeah,
what it said. 300 grand for the
yeah.
ultimate use of the Ultium platform. Okay.
Ultium platform. Future Dodge Charger EV. I would want to drive this to see what it feels like.
I don't know.
It's an electric. It's been delivered already. The first one it hit. Cadillac Escalade
We've seen
IQ.
that one before.
It's a battery horsepower engine. The Mercedes-Benz EQG, which is another electric. Lucid Gravity. So Lucid is the competitor to Tesla, maybe like the third competitor. First one will probably be Rivian. Volkswagen ID Buzz. I don't know, man.
See, that's pretty cool. I think that's actually a cool concept where they're bringing back the old buses, the old
Yeah.
VW
Yeah.
bus kind of concept. I think that's pretty cool. I fuck with that.
And then BMW M5, which is going to be a
Oh, wagon.
wagon.
I love this.
Yeah. Polestar 5,
Polestar.
which is a Volvo.
Yeah.
900 horse, nearly 900 horsepower. So
It
I'm just
looks
going
it
to
looks like an Audi.
The new Macan.
Porsche Macan EV. Lexus GX. I really want to drive this car. And Toyota
We
Land
talked about this,
Cruiser.
the new Land
Yeah.
Cruiser.
But it was another interesting article that I looked at, and these are the 10 cars the middle class won't be able to afford in the next 5 years. And they're talking about Chevrolet Tahoe, electric luxury sedans, Tesla Model S and Lucid Air, Tesla Model S Plaid.
Well, the middle class
Um,
already can't afford a Tesla Model
yeah,
S Plaid. I don't know what they're talking about. And if you're talking
Chevrolet
about,
Silverado,
and even with like a Tahoe, let's say you're looking at that's something that's not a basic Tahoe, that's already another card
like
that's
80,
hard.
100,000. Yeah,
Exactly. Now the Silverado, yes, I agree that that might be one of those cars that starts to jump out of the range. Cause like for example, my mom, my dad, my sister, your brother, they have one. Definitely a car achievable for lower middle class and stuff, but it's gonna get more expensive, man. Like, I think my
yeah.
dad paid almost close to 50 grand, like over 50 grand for his, and Lynette probably close to that. So they're
Yeah.
expensive. That
Land
thirty-six
Rover Range
thousand
Rover
number is
is one of those
bullshit.
cars. Yeah, Land
We
Rover
knew
Range
that.
Rover is one of those cars. Like, yeah,
I
S
feel
Class
like
Mercedes and
a lot of these cars are
Jeep
already.
Wrangler, bro, up to 100,000.
See, that's one that surprises me in the sense where right now they're not cheap, but they have been achievable for middle class. But a lot of these cars already aren't achievable for middle class, like Escalade, Mercedes S Class. Like, come on.
Honda Odyssey.
That's another one that surprises me for sure. But like,
Yeah.
scroll back
So
up,
it's
like
just showing.
go through
Yeah.
those again real quick because I'm gonna point out the bullshit ones. Cadillac Escalade, GMC Yukon, S Class, Range Rover, going up a little bit, the Plaid. Like these
Plaid.
are already cars that are harder to achieve for someone in the middle class. Come on. Like what is
Yeah.
this article? Like
Yep.
some of them have some value, like the Tahoe, not the Tahoe, but the Honda Odyssey. Yes, that's the one that kind of surprises me. In the sense where you're saying it's not going to be achievable for the middle class because who drives a Honda Odyssey? Fucking moms, soccer moms, bro. It's a
Yep.
minivan.
Yep.
So you're telling me soccer moms aren't gonna be able to afford a Honda
Yep.
minivan? That doesn't make
Yep.
any sense
The
to
only
me.
way
So
that
you want to play the video of the
the
laser
only way that
Oh,
while
I
we're
would like to see
talking?
that. Yeah,
the only way that
sure.
I see
Play it.
people being able to
Make
afford
it big.
these type of cars is with income tax with from multiple children. Am I wrong?
Say again, Miggy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The only way that I see people being able to afford these type of cars is with like tax income from multiple children.
Even
Well,
then,
Because
like,
even then,
a
bro.
lot of these cars, they're bigger cars. You're talking about Tahoes, Yukons,
let's say you have
Chevy
let's say you have three kids.
Silverados.
Let's say you have three kids. You're working middle class. If I'm not mistaken, tell me if I'm. Jay will have a better estimate. What do you think a middle class person with three kids, mother that's probably married, is gonna get on her tax returns?
You're probably looking if I'm guessing from just an estimate, I'm guessing around at least $6,000.
That's what I assume. $6,000 to $7,000 back. Even then, that's not enough to cover the car and all the kids the cost that these
You're
kids
not
have. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not enough.
you're not gonna cover the cost at $6,000. That's you looking
Exactly.
at $500 a month. But when your payment is at 50,000, the best way to look at a payment is if you take the car's price and you take 20% of that. That's gonna be your payment. So if it's a $50,000 car, you're gonna be paying about $1,000 a month to
I
buy
think
it,
I think
right?
I think most people over the age of 30 are probably making at least $20 an hour plus.
They're not. So
Or at least
an
that's
average
the goal that somebody should have at that age, no?
At least.
an average an average male in the United States makes about $50,000, and that's all ages.
Okay.
50 grand. 50 grand is what? The $20, right? Like that's an average male. That's including the old people and young people, right? So
Mm.
which is going to be heavily on the old side and then lighter on the young side,
And
right?
then
Average.
So
the
do you
reason you have a number like 22 is because you look at where the majority of people are and they're around, like they say they're mostly under that in reality. The reason you're getting it
Yeah,
to bring up to 20 is because of all the people making massive amounts of money.
hella money. Yeah. So in
I
Florida, an
know
average is
I
$62,000.
know I'm just questioning because I know it's possible for some people because from personal anecdote, my aunt and her husband, I don't think they're both together making over 100 grand a year, and they still have a pretty nice car.
See, but that's the thing, it's together, right? These
Yeah,
people are
yeah, that's
working
what I'm saying. I'm
exactly.
guessing a fit. I'm kind of accounting here for a partner.
Right, exactly.
So this is what's happening in a country. This is what's happening. We have these people that are called dinks, dual income, no kids,
But
right? These are younger
I'm
people.
talking about dual income with multiple kids. I'm talking
That's where you're
Yeah,
three.
gonna
but see,
struggle.
I'm talking
yeah,
three
that's where you're
kids.
gonna struggle. Yeah, because an average American, you're talking about foreigners that've been living tight with a belt tightened all their life. So it's very easy for them to do that life,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you're talking about Americans that are used to taking out takeout food, used
Mm-hmm.
to doing
Yeah,
this, used to buying
that's
coffee,
true. It
used
is a
to
different
buying this,
lifestyle.
it's a different lifestyle. So an average person in the United States making about like dual income, no kids, you both bringing in a hundred thousand, they can
They
buy
don't
that.
go out to the
And
clubs
then
every weekend
let's
either.
say,
If anything, they'll go out to like the zoo or the beach, which isn't very
and
expensive.
think about it this way too. For the first
Hey, have
five
you been to the
years,
zoo lately? I looked at the price
tickets
the
are
other day. I
expensive,
think it was
right?
like 50 or $60.
They have like a season pass or a yearly pass when they
Oh,
do
fuck
the
that.
zoo.
Bro,
But
how many times can you see monkeys?
take this
It's
They
into
not
ha-
like Busch Gardens.
consideration,
You get
right?
to
they have
ride,
the
you know?
thing is they have kids, so they just take the kids and obviously as
Yeah.
adults we're not fucking gonna have a zoo pass. I'm not gonna
Take
go up to Ed and be like, hey bro, you want to go to the zoo this
take this into
weekend?
consideration though, make it too. So let's say they have multiple kids, right? For the first 5 years of those kids' lives, they gotta be watched out of after, and they can't
Yep.
just be put into public school for free, right? So
Again, that's
in
another
the
thing that they
in
make it
the
work in because grandma takes care of the kids, so they don't have to pay
that's
for that.
another thing, right? But let's say they don't have grandma. Let's put this into consideration of two people making $50,000 a year each, but that means they're working full time jobs, right? Someone's
Yep.
got to take care of those kids during the first 5 years of their lives, and if they're working full
An
time
average
jobs,
child is 15
it's
grand a
not them.
year.
Exactly. And then you look at it's $321 a week for daycare on average times 52. That's that much on
No,
daycare a year, bro.
if you do
That's
daycare,
sixteen
if you
thousand
do
dollars
daycare,
daycare.
you are not able to afford it. That's for
That's
sure.
that's $16,000. And then let's say you have multiple kids. Fuck you, you're getting fucked in the ass on daycare.
So that's why I'm saying this is begs the question whether your wife or you should be working. You know what I mean? Because if one of you is going to work and all the money that you make, you're gonna give away
For
for
daycare
like
just to watch the
childcare,
kid, that
the
doesn't make any
car,
sense.
the insurance. Yeah, that makes no sense.
I will
You know
say
what
in
I
this
mean?
situation, I guess it may make a little bit of sense in the sense if you have like one kid, right, to pay for the daycare. Because let's say she is making 50 grand a year, like you said, on average. Uh, 16
Or
grand out of
35
it, and let's
grand.
even say you divide it between the two. That's 8 grand out of each one of your pocket a year to take care of the kid. On the other hand, now you're bringing in an extra 35,000 because the girl can go work.
But
That
don't
makes
forget,
sense.
you don't forget you still got to pay insurance, the second car, right? Those things, gas, right?
Yeah,
So you have to pay all those
yeah.
expenses as well. So
And if
that's
that
another
adds up
fifteen
to
to
more than the
sixteen hundred
35
dollars.
grand, or even let's say it gets to like 25, and you're like, damn, am I really doing all this to bring in 10 grand a whole
Exactly.
year? You have to, weigh out the pros and cons, with your current
Yeah.
situation.
Yep. That's
Mm.
just the way it is
That
right now.
that
And
that
but
situation or that decision of having your wife stop working is a very difficult one. Like for example, like last night I was watching a movie with what's his name? Super funny actor, old school, super silly. He did Bruce Almighty.
Um, Fuck, he's amazing. He's a
Yes,
goat. He's a
yes.
goat. He also did Yes.
The Mask.
He did Yes Man.
Yeah. The
Um,
movie that I was watching was like
God damn it,
fun with something, whatever. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. There you go. Sorry, Jim Carrey. That was
And
disrespectful.
yeah, and he, the movie was him telling his wife, "Hey, quit your job because I'm gonna be getting the vice president position." The next day he gets in there, he's no longer the vice president, and his wife had already quit his job. That
well, you do.
translates to
Well,
real
that's
life because you never really know what's gonna happen, and if both the partners aren't working, if for whatever reason your main your head of household falls down and you don't have nothing to fucking fall upon, you're kind of fucked.
well, yeah, that's fine. But at the end of the day, as a head of household, you shouldn't be making those dumbass decisions. Like, I'm going to be getting vice president, so you quit your job today. No, wait, let me get my vice president. If I do get the vice president, I think we should consider for you to quit the job. Now, if the wife makes more money than the guy, then the guy should quit the job. But we all know what happens when the wife makes more money. Divorce rates go up. So it's just for the family to stay conducive together. It's better that the wife leaves the job. It's just
if it
it's
could be
just what it
afforded.
is.
If it had to come down to that, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it could be afforded, yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. We're living in this crazy time where no one really pays attention. It is what it is. But yeah. So I had do you want to do a dumbass really? Oh, this actually is a pretty good article. So so they just revealed the truth about Sam Altman's firing is OpenAI CEO revealed, right? So Sam Altman OpenAI firing. The situation is further complicated by anonymous sources and unverified reports that have painted a picture filled with assumptions. Cut. Okay, never mind. But anyway, the even more interesting part is Sam Altman and Elon Musk. They created together OpenAI
Mm-hmm.
as a as an open source for free service.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sam Altman, Elon then didn't like the direction that they're going, and he was saying, "Hey, listen, AI is dangerous. We can't be doing this." So he kind of quit the board, and now he's suing them for
Yeah,
specifically that
I
reason.
think
But
we talked about this. Elon was
yeah,
suing them.
yeah. So we'll see what that's gonna bring, what fruit that's gonna bear, and then Altman sold it to Microsoft, which is like a direct competitor to Tesla. So but yeah, so that's that. And then we have some dumbass Tango articles if
So
you
it's
want
funny.
that.
I was curious because I looked up the basic question on why did Elon leave OpenAI, and he also said there needed to be a relevant competitor to Google / DeepMind, and he was going to
Yes,
do it himself.
yes, because he wanted to create an AI that would control other AIs, meaning that the AIs will not step out the box.
Give me 1 second, guys.
So
I
that
gotta go blow my nose.
that's what he was doing. He was creating an AI
And
that
you
would
thought,
control
and
other
you
AIs.
talked about this, I think, last podcast. He was trying to create a podcast to kind of police the other AIs.
AI, he was trying to
For
create
and
AI
he's
to
trying
police the other.
and he's trying to develop this for the U.S. government at the moment.
I don't know if it's for U.S. government, but I think U.S. government will be involved. I'm sure.
For sure, there's definitely
Um,
gonna be some funding. He's
yeah,
already got the backup of the government in every sense, regarding
yes, he does.
AI to electricity and eco friendliness.
Yeah.
And
It's funny how government will give him money, but at the same time, like put him in shitty positions. It's like, they give him money and then they slap his hands. You know what I
hmm
mean? It's funny.
they
But
try and keep him in line.
yeah. Well, they're not trying to keep him in line. Like, there was this thing like, oh, another Tesla crashed and with an autopilot. Like this becomes national fucking news. Another Tesla crashed in autopilot. Like you can look up how many crashes we had of Teslas in autopilot within the past year, or year to date, or past year. It's not as many as we had other accidents, but people driving the cars, right? So overall, self-driving Teslas are more efficient than people. But people are like, oh my god, I can't trust self-driving. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna crash. I have better control. No, you don't. You don't. You're an
Like
idiot. You don't know how to
People
drive.
people make a
one
bigger
day,
deal of something that they can't control.
one day I was driving on 66th Street, approaching 30th Avenue, heading south, right? And this fucking Tesla just swerved into my lane, like not hard, but he just like this old dude. It was him and a bunch of his buddies. It looked like in Tesla, really old. These guys had to be past their 60s, 65 actually, past 65. And I saw like the Tesla got super close to my Subaru. I had to like scoot over, but there was a curb there from the median, and out of nowhere, like adjusted itself. And I could tell that wasn't that old fucking dude. That was the Tesla, like not hitting me
Modifying
basically.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I was super happy about because I had just got my Subaru, so I was super happy about it, and I was pissed if this old dude
But
hit me in his goddamn
overall,
Tesla.
overall, I think the self-driving will be a better and more efficient way to drive the cars because humans are notoriously inefficient at driving.
1000%. I will say, it's gonna be a like you said, it's gonna be a much more safe thing. Computers statistically, I don't care what anybody says, they make way, way, way less mistakes than we do. It's just one of those things. Like if I tell you, oh, a human and an AI made 100 mistakes doing this task. Oh, okay, so the AI was just like the computer was just as smart as the human. No, no, but the AI did 1,000 tasks and the human only did 500. It's like, well, the computer does so much more. Yeah, maybe makes more mistakes on that front end, but it's because it does way, way more. And if you look at the percentages, just outblown.
Yeah.
And efficiency,
So
efficiency, like how much, like when you're on the road on highway and you're just like, why are these people braking? Why, like, and it's just a curve on the highway. It's like, why the fuck are these people braking? It's because one fucking viejita got scared with all this traffic around her that she wanted to go slow.
Mm-hmm.
Or one viejito wanted to go slow.
Yep.
Or one person wanted to go slow, and that fucks traffic up completely. When theoretically traffic shouldn't be even any traffic. It should just be fucking moving, at
Mm-hmm.
said speed.
I have an article of this employment lawyer that's explaining why employment lawyer explains the reason why high performing workers are fired, and it's eye opening, right? So these are the reasons, right? When an employee with a proven track record of success is terminated, it's usually for one of the following reasons. The first reason could be when an employee gets a new supervisor, change in ownership of the company, or simply change in management.
So it's new
The
supervisor.
third reason is if the high performing employee becomes a burden on the company. This could be by complaining about something illegal or taking some kind of leave. How crazy is that? You're a high performing employee. They don't want you to leave. They don't want you to complain. They're going to fire you if you do all that. That's crazy to me.
I think that in the workplace there should be some kind of appreciation per individual on their said work.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, if they can hire a younger employee that can do the same shit for less money and not complain,
That's
you know what I
their
mean?
prerogative to do so, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that's interesting. And then I have a your
Oh,
Tango
we have
article,
to do that.
why women
All right,
desperately need to
Jay,
know about
choose.
what
You gotta
makes men
choose.
happy.
You have to choose one article out of whatever list you're looking at, and that's what we're gonna end on.
I think
Okay,
so.
so
Starting
this is
about
it.
311.
All right.
I want you to see if you agree with this or not.
I definitely don't if it's from your tango, but
What women desperately need to know about what makes men happy.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
accept and appreciate out loud all the things they do for you and your family. I think that's valid.
Appreciation,
Be
okay.
affectionate. Be affectionate.
That's
Be the
valid.
person anyone would want to be with. I cannot stress this one enough. Do's, listen to what they have to say, show interest, propose a fun activity, and be complimentary. Don't bring up issues loaded with negativity when you're having fun or some relaxing time together. Yeah, men don't want to deal with issues.
So
I,
you said that whole thing of like be the person everyone wants to be around, and I have a
yeah,
little bit of a problem with that because I am with the mindset that people say, "Oh, you just gotta be yourself. If the world doesn't accept you as
that's
is,
bullshit.
I think that's personally bullshit. I agree with
As a
you.
man, you can't. Yeah, that's bullshit.
I will say you should be yourself within the prerogative of the world, right? Don't you go if
Oh,
yourself is an asshole and you think, oh, I'm just a dick at heart and that's who I'm gonna be and the world has to be okay with that. No, you need to fix yourself, bro. Like you can't just be like that, and that's just not who you are. You can't. I mean, maybe it is at that moment. You need to fix yourself. You need to go deep dive into your fucking brain and figure out what the hell's going on that you're such a dick. You know what I mean? Those are things that you
I,
can't just be yourself and the world's gonna accept it. No, you need to.
yeah, no.
There's some guidelines within what you gotta to be a decent human being. You gotta follow some certain guidelines. You know.
Yes, you do. I
So
agree.
within those guidelines, be yourself.
Yeah, but you can. As a guy, you need to have burden of performance. So you always have to better yourself. Always.
Within
You
those
can't be
guidelines.
stagnant.
Like I said, within those
But
guidelines, you can be
yeah,
yourself.
ask if this is a good time for them to listen to something important you have to tell them. Yeah,
Um,
babe, can we talk? Are
that I,
among the most dreaded words in any language to the
yeah,
vast majority of people.
I think that's
Yeah,
true in definitely in a certain way. Where a lot of
I
times they
think this one
come
was pretty decent. This
and
tango was pretty decent.
for once, you
Yeah, for
know,
once.
a lot
Ah,
of times, people will come and kind of just unload problems without even kind of being like, "Hey, are
they
you
do.
okay with talking about this right now?" So
You know what I found
and that kind
in
of is
relationships?
overwhelming.
In relationships, I find it that when you say something as guys, we say something and we really mean exactly the words that we say. Like there's no hidden meaning behind it. There's none of that. And your girl will look at you and then try to see your movements of your eyes, movements of your
See if you
face and
meant
your
something
body, and be
different.
like, yeah, and they're always trying to like, no, 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 listen to me. This is I say what I mean exactly. These are the words that are coming
Remember,
out of my mouth, and
you
they're exactly what they are.
remember I was going off on Emily not really going off, but I was saying the other day she said something. She said, "I don't like that." And you were like, "Okay, then let's not do that." And I was like, "Jay, that's not what she meant. You misunderstood." She's like, "What? She doesn't like it." And I'm like, "Jay, Emily most of the time, 95% of the
Yeah, yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah.
when she says she doesn't like it, she means she doesn't prefer it. Not that she won't eat it. She'll eat it and it's not something she doesn't it's not that she doesn't dislike the thing. She doesn't know how to separate the two for some reason. All the time. She's like,
Well,
"Well, I don't like that. You ate it yesterday, but I just don't prefer it." And I'm like, "Well, so then it's not that you don't like it. You don't, because if you didn't like it, you would dislike it, meaning you wouldn't eat it at all, right?
Mhm.
You just don't prefer it.
it
Just
comes in
don't
like the
want it
direct
at that
language, right?
time.
You don't want it at that
Yeah,
time, or you know. But no,
we don't
every
have
time
those
it's
issues. We
from my
don't like
girlfriend is
something, we
I
I
don't
don't like
like
I
it.
it.
I have that issue. I there's times that my mom will ask me like, "What do you want for dinner?" I'm just like, "Just cook whatever." And that's damn near every day. I don't really care. And at the end of the day, if I get home and I don't like the food, I just won't eat it, and I might eat it tomorrow. And
Or even later.
yeah, I might eat it later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't have that issue, bro. I come in home, even if I don't like the food, I'm eating it. I don't give a shit. There's no such thing as me not liking food. Like, I might not prefer it, I'm still fucking eating it. There's no questions
It
about it.
depends
Like, I
on how
wouldn't even
hungry.
say
It depends
anything.
on how hungry I am.
It just depends. I don't know, man. It's just sometimes food just doesn't digest well with me, and I just rather not throw up. It's just if I'm not feeling it at that moment, I'm just not gonna eat it.
Well, then it's your fault for not saying what to cook, bro.
But that's what I'm
Like, you gotta be
saying.
straight direct. Like,
But
hey,
that's what
don't
I'm,
cook this and don't cook that.
but that's what I'm saying is like it's just at that particular time I might not want it, but then later on I might get hungry and I won't mind eating it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But a lot of
and you
times
know,
I'm in the middle
just
about
go and
that.
say this is what I want you to cook.
A lot,
Period.
like for example, yesterday my mom she made locrio, which is like a arroz amarillo, what you guys call arroz amarillo, which is yellow rice with some meat inside, different kinds of meat or whatever. Um, which I'm a big fan of that dish. I don't mind it, you know. But yesterday for some reason when I got home, and you know what's crazy, is the house had a specific kind of smell that it like
It's like that
it hit
adobo.
me, and I
It's
was
like
like,
that
oh, that smells
adobo.
good. What are you
It's that
making?
adobo that they add on
What are
onto
you
it.
making? And then when I go out there and she's like, oh, I made locrio, and I was like, for some reason in my brain I had like a higher expectation because of the smell. And when she said locrio, I was like, damn, I don't want that. But I don't mind it. You know, like if I was hungry enough, I was definitely gonna eat it in that moment. I think I
Mhm.
had just ate like a couple
Yeah.
hours before I got home from work. Probably grabbed like a slice of pizza, I think it was, at some fucking random gas station. So I was like, I'm not really that hungry right now.
I'm just a
Doesn't appetize
pampered.
me. I'm
I'm
not gonna
just
eat
a
it.
pampered little bitch. That's all it is, man.
Well,
Well,
at
no,
least
bro,
you
you go eat,
recognize.
bro, you go eat McDonald's and shit, which is like probably terrible for you. And then you
Probably
go
it
home
is.
like, yeah, like fresh cooked home meal, and like, oh, I don't, it doesn't sit well with me. Could it be the McDonald's that you ate two
No,
hours ago? That's not
and you
really
and
sitting
it
well
you're
may
with
not
be.
you.
wrong. That's literally what it could have
It
been.
may be. It may
It
be.
may have been. It may have been that.
Alrighty, guys. I think that's good for
It's
today.
good.
Thank you everyone for joining us in the chat. I see we got a few viewers left. We had some like 5 or 6 people in here.
And
Alex,
Vitality guys, like, subscribe on Instagram.
don't forget
Also
Vitality.
Marvin, he's doing taxes. Like, subscribe. We've had a bunch of guests. Like and subscribe to them. You
I
know,
think it's time to start
everyone
getting
gives you
a new
something.
wave of guests in here, guys. We've had
Yeah,
a few episodes where we're just kind of just chilling us, which I like. I personally really like
yeah, I
Feel
the
like this.
comfortable.
this episodes with me with you guys, because we just get to shoot the shit. There's no like fijo,
No
which what I
pressure.
mean. There's no fixed topic. Well, not to say I dislike guests. I also like the guests, but it's a different dynamic.
It's a
Hundred
different
percent.
vibe.
It's a different vibe. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah,
So
you can sense Jay's butthole gets a little tense sometimes.
so
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
because
little
you don't want to ask them things that they're going to blast or something like that. So you kind of have to really
yeah,
navigate the world. But
and also you
with
have
with
to.
three of us, we just talk free.
Exactly, and also it's not that we don't have to get to talk free. I feel like I never really have to hold my tongue. You're right. There are some times when I think of a question and I'm like, maybe don't ask that to
Yes,
maybe go
that's
too
exactly what I
deep
mean. Yeah.
and too personal. But it's really just the fixed topic thing, like that. Sometimes I'm like this. I enjoy. You know, we're bouncing off random topics. We go to random shit, like just complete train wreck sometimes, but it's all right. I like it. I love it. I'll be honest. And but now I'm in the mood. I think it's time to bring some guests on. I think we should have some guests on,
Yeah, yeah.
to mix
Down for
up
that.
the dynamic. It's not getting stale in here, but it's time. It's time.
All
Hey
right.
guys, like and subscribe. Hey Rodolfo, I see you in the chat.
Thank you, man, for joining
Um,
us. Happy birthday, my brother.
Yee.
Happy birthday, Rodolfo.
All
See
right,
you again,
guys.
guys. Next